So you accepted an offer on your listing. Congratulations. But now the buyer is requesting an inspection. What do you do? Let's talk about it. Welcome back to my channel. I'm King Jerome. And on this channel, I love to help homeowners just like you be able to sell their home quickly and efficiently without using a realtor. Let's talk about inspections a little bit. Inspections are not the end of the world, and that's the first thing I want to put out there. Maybe you remember it when you were buying your house at the beginning. Inspections are normal, and they're part of the due diligence process. So when you get an inspection request, you just got to remember that, of course, they're doing their due diligence. But also, there are some opportunities that you can find here, right? So one of the biggest ones for me, if I'm listing a home and someone requests an inspection, I can kind of see where their mindset is at. Why? Yes, it's used for due diligence, but also because of the way the market is and it's always competitive. Say you have a very beautiful home in a great neighborhood, maybe you got great acreage, you got a nice backyard, things like that. Requesting an inspection, well, not even requesting it, but having a contingency. And if you guys are not aware what contingency means, that means it's a way to get out of this contract if something comes up on the inspection. If you submit an offer from the buyer side to a listing with an inspection contingency, they may accept it, but if they got another offer where someone doesn't care about doing an inspection, they want to waive that, they're more likely to lean over here, right? So it's a leverage thing with that. Sometimes you have buyers who only want a specific thing inspected. I had a listing a couple months ago out in the country. The home needed some work. The home definitely needed some work, and the buyers were aware of that. The only thing they wanted an inspection on was the well system. They wanted to make sure that the motors and the well was working, that there wasn't any contamination in the well water, and things like that. So the only inspection that they had to worry about was for the well. And if anything came up, you just pay the company. Most of the times, the companies that do the inspections can also do the remedy work as well to clean out or chlorinate or whatever it is, whatever process it is that they do for the well. And this applies for any other part of your home. You know, whether you're looking to repair a basement or anything like that. And that's usually the big thing that they're looking for, right? If you have people come through your home, and maybe you remember it as well when you're looking through the home you're at right now, if you did not buy it brand new, you know, they're looking for bows in the foundation, looking for cracks, looking for leaking, any problems with electrical, all that kind of stuff. That's usually what a normal inspection will have. They inspect the electrical, they inspect plumbing, they inspect the roof, and anything else that may be related to the home. Now, the next thing I want to talk about with these inspections, you have to pick and choose your battles. And in regards to this, I'm talking about the types of buyers that you have. I'm a veteran, and I'm super thankful to the VA. You know, I got my home that I live in right now, where I'm recording from, with a VA loan. But I have to warn you, VA loans and FHA loans will be some of the biggest headaches that you will deal with when it comes to inspections. Okay? Because most of the times, and I'm going to do a video later on about appraisals. And appraisals, it's going to happen no matter what. It's almost like a little mini inspection because they're just appraising the house, but then they start pointing stuff out. If they see something where it falls into the inspection realm, they'll send it back to your lender or to the buyer's lender, and that lender will then request an inspection on a specific item, even though it was only an appraisal. So FHA and VA, if you have stuff like, say you have an older home and you're looking to sell it as is, right? Meaning, because we've talked about this before on my channel, where we don't want to use the word as is in your descriptions. You want to use anything other than that, like not looking to put in any money into any upgrades or anything like that. But you do that during the negotiation. You don't do that on the actual description of your home. So let's say we're defining that as your as is. Maybe there's really nothing wrong. You just don't want to put any work into it. If you go VA or FHA, if you have stuff like broken or cracked windows, chipped paint, or even missing handrails, that will stop the entire process until that gets fixed. And then their financing can then continue on again. Okay? So a lot of times that would be it's a huge hassle that I'm telling you you don't want to deal with, because it is a headache. And not only FHA and VA, it's also USDA as well. I forgot to mention that, because they are government-backed programs. Government-backed programs tend to do stuff like that. Even the ones with local, you may have in your city a organization, nonprofit organization that helps first-time home buyers acquire a home with down payment assistance and things like that. A lot of times they may have similar requirements as well. So you need to be aware of that. If you can get conventional, if you can get a buyer that has a conventional loan, you can have literally a gaping hole in the side of the house, and they will still get the financing to close on the house and do whatever it is that they want with the house, knowing there's a giant gaping hole on the side of the house, right? Maybe a car drove through it or something. But if it's VA, FHA, USDA, or a local nonprofit that's trying to assist with down payment assistance, it's going to be a lot harder, and you're going to have to put in money, even though you were not planning to originally, to remedy these things, to get it to close. Otherwise, you're starting back from zero and trying to market again to find a new buyer and go through the entire process. So, one thing I like to tell a lot of homeowners who are looking to sell on their own, a really cool thing to do that you can do that can eliminate a lot of the stuff is you order an inspection on your house before you go list it. Say you order it, it comes back, there's some things you need to fix. You fix the important stuff, and that's it. And then you can either get it re-inspected, or you can keep that same inspection, and then your listing, when you go list it, on your own, you can write in the fixes that you have. Not every single house that's for sale, maybe you guys have seen some if you remember going through the buying process with your house. Sometimes the seller might have a document with all the different fixes that they have done with the year, maybe the cost, things like that. You can do something similar, but then you already have an inspection done. And make sure the inspection is done by a licensed inspector. That is going to be key. A licensed inspector. Because if it's not a licensed inspector, and say like it's Joe Blow from down the street, they will go request a new one, because real estate agents, most buyers are going to come with a real estate agent. Real estate agents, a lot of times, even the title company, they cannot necessarily use an inspection by Joe Blow from down the street. It needs to be a licensed inspector. So that's going to really help you out. And my last tip that I want to give is, don't let buyers really nitpick at your listing, at conditions and things like that. Because what a lot of buyers agents will do, and mind you, again, I'm a realtor, and this is stuff that I have done and I will still do. I will try to get as much leverage as I can for my buyer. If there's certain things like, hey, I see that the chimney is broken and needs some repairs. Maybe we can negotiate down the price because my buyer's already going to have to put in money to get this fixed. See, these are certain things that you can fix beforehand in order to present your home literally in the best light possible and get some of the best offers you can get. Because what happens, let's say you live in a neighborhood and let's say there's like 10 homes and like a 1 mile radius. And each home, to make math simple, they're all $400,000. That is their value. Each and every one of them, $400,000. If they each, let's say they're all selling at the same time, and they all sell maybe let's say $50,000 less, so $350,000, right? Because maybe the buyer agent was able to negotiate stuff, or maybe the buyer alone was able to negotiate the price down on all of them. Let's say some of them sold at 320, some at 370, some at 360, some at 350, and the average was 350, right? This affects your home value because now, say you want to go sell your home, when a realtor or an appraisal company, they go do their appraisal, they're going to take their comparables within that 1 mile radius, within whatever time frame that they choose, whether it's 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years. Whatever price, the average price point that the homes that are similar to yours have sold for, that is what it's going to be valued at. So now your home that was valued at $400,000 is now worth $350,000. Just because all the other homeowners let themselves get negotiated down. Sometimes it's necessary. Sometimes, if you have something that's really big, that needs a lot of work on it, but you don't want to do it. You don't want to put the work in yourself, like we're talking about the as-is thing. Okay, maybe we're going to have to start thinking about adjusting price to make it more attractive for somebody going in knowing that there's going to be work that they have to do. But I hope this is very helpful for you. I have down in the description below, there's going to be a link. If you are a homeowner right now and you have your home for sale right now and it's listed and you're seeing it's not getting any traction, things aren't working the way you thought they would be, your phone's not ringing, I have something for you, and it's the top 3 biggest mistakes that for sale by owners make, and you can implement these changes tonight and you can start seeing the traffic and the interest in your home go back up again. So make sure you go down to the description, get that. You can also comment guide down below in the comments, and I'll send that right over to you. But in the meantime, between time, stay blessed by the best and stay tuned, guys.